Alex Polizzi is an award-winning hotelier with over 20 years' experience of working in the world's most luxurious hotels. Born into the legendary Forte hotel dynasty, she's on a crusade to transform Britain's most desperate hotels and B&Bs. From outrageous owners...
My food is the best you'll find probably in the north of England.
What are they trying to do? Kill me in one meal?
To dodgy decor.
There should be a law against pink towels.
Nothing escapes the hotel inspector's beady eye.
It's absolutely filthy.
Or her quest for perfection.
That is a campaign, definitely. That is. It's personal.
Wake up, hello.
Yeah.
Hotel is personal, but this is a business.
This week, the clock is ticking for the hotel inspector.
The ceaseless tick-tock seem to mark the lifeblood draining out of me. Your average room rate is pathetic.
Oh, bollocks. I have lost £750,000. I mean, how can I feel about the hotel?
Just give up all hope, because otherwise I can't be asked to do this.
Bollocks.
The 17th century Rutland Arms Hotel in Bakewell, Derbyshire, owned by 68-year-old former solicitor David Donegan.
Oh, bollocks.
He bought the hotel 12 years ago with a dream of retiring on the profits.
My idea of owning a hotel was to come along once a week, open the till, take out a load of money, and then disappear off home.
But the reality has been somewhat different.
Fucking hell. No, fuck. All I do is work harder and harder and harder for less and less and less return.
Situated at the edge of the Peak District National Park, the hotel has good occupancy in summer, but come the winter, the situation is dire.
January and February are desperate months, and if we have one lonely customer coming in the door, we'll be sort of quite fortunate. We can lose £50,000 quite comfortably between January the 1st and the end of March.
The hotel has around 30 staff, but after a barrage of bad reviews about service and cleanliness, David has taken matters into his own hands.
I'll just give this a little bit of a wipe before you... No one ever does any bloody wiping around here.
He now spends his days cleaning...
I'm a first-class bulk cleaner. Yes, that will do.
Working the bar and reception.
I'm not quite sure that's what you do with that, but anyway. My name is Mr. Incompetent, by the way. So...
and tending to his precious collection of antique clocks.
I tend to have a fetish about buying clocks, unfortunately. What time is it now? I can't see. You can't have a favourite. It's like old Hefner asking who's his favourite girlfriend. I mean, you know, a bit difficult, I think.
For David, owning the Rutland Arms has become a wind-up.
There are so many ways to lose money that, I mean, I have fallen into every one of them. Fellow comes off the road and says, Mr. Donegan, I'd love to paint your portrait. So he comes back in about 3 weeks, puts that on the wall, asks me what I think of it. And of course you have to, well, I mean, you know, it's for gratis, it's for nothing. I say, delighted. He then handed me an envelope with a bill in for £1,000. So I was a bit teed off about that. Most of the clocks, they're worth about half of what I paid for them. So another failure to mark up. And I've lost something like £750,000 in 12 years. So that's how bad they got.
Time is running out for David and the Rutland Arms. And he simply can't afford any more slip-ups.
Right, you bastard!
Facing financial ruin, David has called on renowned hotelier Alex Polizzi for help.
And there it is, a very imposing building, right on the main thoroughfare. It looks wonderful from the outside. You certainly can't see any problems that may lurk within.
But it's not just the hotel inspector's expertise that David's interested in.
Yes, I'd rather see Poloski's boobs than your ugly face. I just think she's a really sexy woman, so magnificent. But I got to the stage in our life where desire exceeds performance.
But will Alex be able to revive Mr. Donegan's ailing fortunes?
Oh, good morning.
Alex Polizzi.
Oh, delighted to meet you.
Delighted to meet you. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
Now, shall we go to your room? Is that
I'd
the next
love
thing?
that. Yes, please.
My normal policy is if the customer is younger than myself, they carry their own bag.
That's fine by
But
me.
in your case,
No, I insist.
no. Up the stairs and we go to the right.
OK, thank you.
To try and find out where the Rutland is going wrong,
Doors open, actually.
Alex will stay the night.
Now, this is room 8.
It's a lovely room, thank you.
The tea things are there, the bathroom is through there. We've got rid of the rats, so everything else seemed, I think... I've checked the room myself, so everything's been done.
Thank
Fine,
you very much. Well, this is a perfectly nice room. The carpet's clean. The bed's solid. And usually I've got a nice clean bathroom, which is a joy.
Since I spent, I suppose, 2 hours in her room yesterday, cleaning it from top to bottom, I hope they're reasonably good.
So far, there's no sign of the bad housekeeping that online reviews frequently complain about. Alex wants to know if the same high standard is maintained in the rest of the hotel.
There's lots of trailing wires everywhere. I don't understand why there's one curtain tie back and not the other one. The kettle's really grimy. And let's see. Yep, there's water in there. God only knows how long the water's been there.
Next, room 17, reserved and awaiting the guests' arrival.
Look at this valance. This ruched bit is supposed to be where the end of the mattress sits. This really annoys me. Oh my goodness, there's lots of stuff here. It's all very messy.
And a bigger shock lurks in the bathroom.
Oh my goodness, look at the state of this mirror. Oh God, and this loo hasn't been cleaned. There's hairs everywhere. I'm not sure if anyone's checked this room. If they have, it's completely inexcusable. There should be someone making sure that the guests who arrive here aren't going to find what I just have.
With guests potentially checking in at any moment, Alex heads straight to reception.
Hiya. Room 17, the loo's not being cleaned and there's a filthy mirror in the bathroom. No, I'm not joking. I don't want someone to turn up in that room and it to be left like that. Is there anyone who can tackle it?
"30 minutes later, after several phone calls, the room is cleaned. But the failure to act quickly and decisively has left Alex livid.
If in the afternoon someone checks in and the rooms are in that kind of mess, it just isn't good enough that a receptionist says, oh, well, I'll try and call a housekeeper and get them to come in. No, you get a sodding bucket and you clean out the fucking bath. It's not that hard to do, is it? We all do it in our own houses. You know, what does it take to clean out a loo, to clean out a bath, to do a basin, to do a mirror?
It's a bad start, and Alex's investigation has only just begun. Former solicitor and clock collector David Donegan bought the 34-bedroom Rutland Arms Hotel in Bakewell 12 years ago. But his dream of sitting back and raking in the profits has turned sour.
My idea of owning a hotel was to come along once a week, open the till, take out a load of money and then disappear off home.
With time running out, he's called on award-winning hotelier Alex Polizzi for help. Last night, she uncovered sloppy housekeeping.
Oh, God, and this loo hasn't been cleaned. There's hairs everywhere.
And ineffectual staff.
It just isn't good enough that a receptionist says, oh, well, I'll try and call a housekeeper and get them to come in. No, you get a sodding bucket and you clean out the fucking bath.
This morning, her investigation continues. starting with the Rutland's reception area.
This whole reception doesn't do him any favours. I hate the collection of disparate objects, as usual, that are littered absolutely everywhere. I mean, you're here. You don't need to know how to find us, do you? Why is this? Why is this? It crams it all in, and it just all looks really messy. I also hate all the signage. The whole reception area has got so much stuff there that it doesn't feel very easy to access the person behind the desk.
Good afternoon, Rutland Arms Hotel. Ross speaking. How can I help?
It all adds up to a poor first impression for guests. Next up, breakfast.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can I please have the oat smoked salmon and soft scrambled egg,
Yeah.
brown toast,
Yeah.
and please can I have a double espresso with hot milk? Thank you.
Alex is underwhelmed by the service, but the breakfast itself hits the spot.
It's really good.
Alex seeks out head chef Greg to find out where he thinks the hotel is failing.
Do you have rosettes here?
Yeah, I've got one. Well, we should have two, but we got marked down from something chronic on the service and things like that.
I kind of think that one problem is it's kind of quite tentative, the service. I mean, certainly at breakfast today, that poor young man is deeply out of his depth. It doesn't feel like a very professional operation. Everyone seems quite well-meaning, I mean, staff-wise. They're just not very highly trained, are they? There just doesn't seem to be much of
I don't think that's a fault of their own, to be honest. I think that's to do
I mean,
with
you
the
don't self-train, do you? Well, after that meeting with Greg, I've just got more questions and more worries, actually. At the end of the day, it's very easy for me to go to Mr. Donegan and say his rooms aren't being cleaned adequately, and we can put procedures into place for that very quickly. It's much harder for me to put in a management structure, which is ultimately my challenge here.
The lack of staff training is alarming. Next, Alex wants to talk to the closest thing the Rutland has to a manager, part-time marketing girl Denise.
Denise, Mr. Donegan took you on to help him with marketing,
That's
didn't
correct,
he?
yes.
How much marketing do you actually get a chance to do?
At this present moment in time, very, very little. I do anything from disciplinary hearings to hiring to worrying about the fire extinguishers, everything. There isn't another member of staff who's ever worked in the hotel industry, so there's a lack of training, there's a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
There is nervousness within the staff. Mr. Donegan very, very rarely would compliment. In fact, I would say he never compliments his team. He could tell you exactly how much money he's lost, but he would never say to them, yeah, that was a great meal or anything else.
Alex has discovered a distinct lack of leadership.
Scrubber, down here, otherwise you're going to be instantly dismissed. Get down here, you bloody bitch. Come on, right.
And a hotel in chaos.
The more people I talk to in this hotel, the more dire it appears the situation actually is. I don't know, firefighting is the perfect analogy here. Everyone seems to be desperately running around, rather like headless chickens, not knowing where the next drama's going to strike.
So what is?
7.
It's a 7?
Yeah.
What was a 5?
No, 7.
Bollocks! So in other words, we're going to have to... oh, bollocks.
The ceaseless tick-tocking of all these clocks all around the hotel seem to mark the lifeblood draining out of me, just as it is out of this building.
It's time for Alex to confront Mr. Donegan with her findings. Firstly, the hotel's shoddy housekeeping.
General cleanliness isn't what it should be.
Yes.
Immediately needs to be tackled because, you know, we don't need another bad review.
Yes.
Reception, when you arrive, just looks, you know, there's stuff everywhere and there's dead flowers. I mean, that's completely unacceptable. How come no one notices that?
Yes, blind mice.
Now, someone has to decide how they clean the rooms and what a standard is, an operating procedure. What are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to open the drawers at the bedside tables? Are they supposed to empty out the kettles of water? Mm-hmm. You know, it all should be laid down. You need to formalise what people's jobs are.
Next, the question of the dismal off-season occupancy rates.
Your average room rate is pathetic. There's two ways to make more money. You increase your occupancy or you increase your room rate. And I know you're worrying because you're not making money, but the only person who's tackling it mentally is Denise.
No, I quite accept that.
Finally, and most importantly, the hotel's lack of strong leadership.
Don, you can tiddly pom around the corridors as much as you like, winding the clocks. And you clear tables and you clean bathrooms and you do a lot of the firefighting too. But there's no sense of order. Charming as you are, you're not very competent.
No, absolutely right. But of course, it was never my intention to run a hotel. My intention was to own a hotel and have somebody else run it.
You need
yes.
to get a grip of this.
Oh, indeed. Yes.
I think you have to accept wholeheartedly the responsibility either for hiring someone to make sure that things are done or making sure that it happens yourself.
Yes, I accept that. Bob, I agree with you entirely.
You know, we don't have years to work this out. We've got months.
With no time to lose, Alex wants immediate action. Mr. Donegan needs to stop cleaning the hotel himself and create a standardised procedure for his housekeeping staff to follow.
OK, when I come into a room, I always start with everything clockwise.
So clockwise.
By introducing a methodical checklist, Alex hopes to ensure the housekeeping is always up to scratch.
So, I would see, is the kettle clean? No, it's not particularly. Is it empty of water? I've gone into room after room with the manky kettles.
Yes. Yes, good.
OK? Good. Always check drawers. In every room, it has been different. So let's decide what belongs in every drawer.
Yes.
Does this light work is the next question. Both curtains are tied back, which is correct.
Yes,
of course.
Yes. She's a bit like a schoolmistress. It's just good common sense, really. Simple stuff. But although it's simple, it's something that this hotel hasn't been following.
In a bathroom, especially a modern tiled one, regularly the tiles should be wiped down. And then, again, you go around it clockwise, you know, bath, plug hole, radiator, the towel's correct, loo, make sure you lift up the loo seat.
Yes. So basically, again, we're back to standardisation.
Standardisation.
Yeah. Yes, it makes sense.
Alex's housekeeping checklist will guide the staff and prevent David from getting bogged down in the cleaning.
Hopefully, with Alex putting her foot up my bottom, we'll be able to achieve good standards. And of course, as you well know, I was most attracted to her bosoms. But she really is a formidable person, isn't she? Yes, I'm looking forward to working with her. And hopefully her bosoms.
Darling, I know it's been an awful lot to take in, and I'm sorry because I feel like I've battered you.
You have.
But, you know, I'm a great one for grasping the bull by the horns, and we only have so much time, and I want to be as helpful to you as I can. And so I want you to square your shoulders and keep your chin up and...
Yes, indeed.
Don't be too downhearted.
Is there any chance that I perhaps could go down to London in your car and you could stay here and do...
No.
No, I suppose not. No. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, bye.
Goodbye.
Alex leaves Mr. Donegan with clear instructions. The clutter must be banished from reception, and cleanliness in the rooms must be improved. All of the staff must have clear systems and training. And the chaotic hotel needs an experienced and competent leader. 2 weeks later, and it seems little has changed. After an initial effort at enforcing a new housekeeping regime, David is back to getting low down and dirty.
Come on, Scrubber, come and give me a hand, Scrubber. I drew up a crash list of what ought to happen in bedrooms, and I clean the bath, make sure there's no thingamajigs, horribles down the bogs, put bleach down the bogs, clean the toilet seats. I drew a whole list of what action should be taken. I photostat there's about 100 copies of these, and they've all disappeared. I've given up on the cleaners, really. it's quicker and easier for me to do it myself than to try and bomb.
With the business going down the pan, the owner is spending more time chasing pubes than profit.
And I've noticed this, it's bloody hard picking up hairs in bathrooms. They're everywhere. And of course, you wipe them, and all they do, they stick to the cloth. And of course, then you rinse the cloth out in the sink, but it doesn't get rid of them. So all you're doing, you're chasing bloody hairs around the bleeding floor. It's...
The Rutland Arms in Bakewell has been a haven for travellers to the Peak District since the 17th century. But the hotel is far from a picture-perfect postcard.
The more people I talk to in this hotel, the more dire it appears the situation actually is.
With losses mounting, its owner, retired solicitor and clock collector David Donegan,
Fuck, it stopped again. No, it hasn't.
is rapidly running out of money and time.
I'm totally fatalistic about the hotel. I mean, how long can you go on losing money? It's the last throw of the dice, as it were.
He's turned to expert hotelier Alex Polizzi for help. But so far, she's discovered dodgy housekeeping.
There's stuff everywhere and there's dead flowers.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
how
I could
come
agree.
no one notices that?
A structureless hotel with inexperienced staff left to fend for themselves.
Everyone seems to be desperately running around, rather like headless chickens, not knowing where the next drama's going to strike.
And an owner whose leadership skills leave a lot to be desired.
Fucking hell. No, fuck!
Now Alex is back in Derbyshire to find out if Mr. Donegan has managed to get a grip of his chaotic hotel.
When I was last here, I spoke to Mr. Donegan a lot about the necessity of having a manager, someone who would do all the bits that he clearly either didn't want or wasn't capable of doing himself. So what I most hope to see today, now that I'm back, is that there is a stronger sense of leadership here, that someone's taking control of the situation and someone's showing the staff which way to go.
Mr. Donegan.
Oh, Alex, hello.
How are you?
Good morning, I'm delighted to see you.
Lovely to see you. I like the fact that the reception desk is all clear.
Well, I know, I took your comments on board and I told them to clear everything, but it was clearer than this. I don't know what this is doing here.
But it does look much better.
Doesn't
It looks much
yes.
more professional
Yes, indeed.
and
Yes.
clearer. I like
agree, yes.
it.
I think, yes, absolutely.
So I'm assuming that same wind of change has swept through the whole of the hotel. How's the housekeeping going?
Better, but not as well as I would hope. I keep on complaining, moaning, groaning.
I know, but none of that actually helps. All it does
No.
is create bad feeling.
That's
what you have
right,
to
yes.
do is make sure you set up a
Yes,
system
exactly.
which is then adhered to. You don't have to be nasty. You just have to have expectations that you stick to.
Mr. Donegan continues to fiddle while the Rutland burns. So Alex calls a meeting to get to the bottom of why the proprietor is not getting the most out of his staff.
I mean, what sort of atmosphere do we have in the hotel? I don't know, of course. How is the atmosphere in the hotel, would you say?
Gloomy.
Pardon?
Gloomy.
Gloomy? Why is it gloomy?
I don't know.
How would you improve staff morale?
Don't put as many people on it at one time.
Keep people busy?
Yeah.
Morale is at rock bottom. Without clearly defined systems and roles, the staff are confused, bored and miserable.
I think a large part of it is making sure that people understand that their responsibilities lie other than just, for example, a waitress. Their responsibility is not just to serve the tables. Their responsibility is to walk around the ground floor, make sure that the tables and chairs in the bar are arranged as they should be, that tables are clean and tidy. You know, everyone has to muck in on all
Yes,
fronts.
well, everything you've mentioned in this last 30 seconds we don't do. The glass is not clean, the magazines aren't tidied up, the seats aren't puffed up, the tables aren't wiped, because I'm the only bugger in the hotel who does them.
The one thing that really makes a difference is positivity, and he doesn't engender any confidence about his own hotel. I don't think that that is a way to start improving your business. I think you need to think positive and act positive. But stop feeling sorry for yourself
No,
and think about how to change it.
Yes, well, it is a fact in this hotel, everyone does the least that they can get away with. Everyone, without exception.
I do my fair share. I do what I can.
But I've noticed there's no one in the hotel who does more than they should.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think we all agree that actually we all work for someone who notices our work too.
David, sometimes a thank you is better than £10 English.
Yes, well, because I know it's very difficult to...
It's not difficult to say thank you.
Well...
That's amazing how much morale it boosts up.
But I think we have to decide something positive, which is how do we move this forward?
Exactly, yes.
Because actually, I think you have to start formalising some procedures.
It appears David is all stick and no carrot. Now the realisation of what it means for his hotel is driving him to despair.
I'm totally fatalistic about the hotel. I've been here 12 years. I have lost £750,000. I mean, how can I feel about the hotel? If I can't get the staff on board to operate properly, then there's no chance that it's going to work. I suppose the proof of the pudding will be in the eating. We'll just have to see how it works out. I've been down here every bloody day, and it really is not the way I want to, the remainder of my life to be.
But Alex isn't ready to give up on the Rutland Arms or its owner just yet.
I think I need to find a way to talk to him and try and lift his spirits a bit. I do not want to walk away from here thinking that I've made his life worse.
Alex has a plan to try and improve the hotel's dismal out-of-season occupancy rate and bring in some much-needed extra revenue during the quieter months.
I've been racking my brains about how I can best help you in the hotel to improve your turnover and also increase your room occupancy. We know you have a short but good season, so it's really out of season we need to tackle. And obviously one of the ways you fill the rooms is by making sure that this function room is properly occupied. I wouldn't find it appealing if I walked in here. It takes quite a lot of imagination to determine how you could make it the day of your dreams.
Yes.
You know.
I'm sure that's right.
Alex believes the underused ballroom could be key to increasing lucrative events at the hotel and filling up the bedrooms during the quiet weekdays and winter period. But first, she'll need to tackle the tacky carpet covering much of the dance floor, banish the bland furniture, and transform the depressing colour scheme.
I certainly feel a lot more encouraged.
You need to be cheerful because actually, you being downhearted does't help anybody. And, people look to you and you have to keep the faith.
No, I'm sure that's right. Yes, I won't get drunk this time.
OK.
Alex knows the success of her plan will depend on David embracing his role as owner and adopting a new, more positive attitude.
I expect him as an owner to step up to the plate and do what he needs to do, whatever he needs to do, to try and make a bigger success of his hotel. But I'm only too aware of the pitfalls that Mr. Donegan's character seemed to lay for him.
One month later, and there's major progress at the Rutland Arms.
That's grand, and what's the name on the card, please?
David has employed a management company to provide the disorganised establishment with systems and structure. And the hotel now has an experienced manager on the ground. With 25 years of experience in the business, John is a welcome and much-needed addition.
There's a clear leader in the hotel now, which is me. They are very capable and a very good team who work here. All they need is a manager to coordinate them properly.
Yes, John is addressing all the matters that Alex indicated that should be addressed. I think he's now doing a very good job.
In the ballroom, the walls have been repainted and the work has exposed an impressive dance floor. although Mr. Donegan isn't yet convinced.
Bum, 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 bum. I feel like vomiting. Oh, that's better. I mean, that's much better.
2 weeks later, and Alex is back to witness the transformation. Tired and dreary, the ballroom was an underused afterthought. Now it has a fresh colour scheme with modern blinds to bring it right up to date. The carpets have gone to reveal an eye-catching and valuable wooden dance floor. The room is now the perfect backdrop for any event, from an evening party to a business conference or a glamorous wedding reception. But will David approve of his new multifunctional ballroom?
Bum, bum, bum.
Mr. Donegan.
Good
Darling,
morning.
your new ballroom, what do you think?
Well, I regret to say that I'm favourably impressed.
Are you? Good. I think it's very important that we make sure that this room pays its way in your hotel.
Yes.
It's a very underutilised asset.
The ballroom is a big hit with Mr. Donegan. Now Alex wants to know if the new manager is too.
So you're getting on with John, it's working out, the whole relationship.
I don't like the fellow, but there again, I have to admit that he seems to be competent.
I do think that things look cleaner
Yes.
and more. It looks all quite pared down. As he seems actually to have rolled his sleeves up and actually getting involved in the nitty-gritty, it can only be a good thing.
I've obviously got to step back because whatever I'm doing, it's not right. It's wrong.
With an experienced new manager in place, service and cleanliness improving, and a reinvigorated ballroom, things are looking up for the Rutland Arms. But there is still one major fly in the ointment. When former solicitor David Donegan bought the 34-bedroom Rutland Arms in Bakewell, he dreamt of sitting back and raking in the profits.
Bum, bum, bum.
But 12 bleak years later, the 17th century hotel is blighted by bad reviews and has cost its owner a small fortune.
It's made no money whilst I've been here. And then, of course, if history continues, then we're banjacks. Simple as that.
Hotel inspector Alex Polizzi is attempting to stem the tide. New manager John has provided some desperately needed leadership, and the frequently berated service and room cleanliness has improved. Now Alex wants to put the freshly decorated ballroom to good use and generate some new revenue for the beleaguered hotel. She's brought in 3 local wedding experts in the hope that Mr. Donegan will impress and forge lucrative new relationships.
This is our opportunity to really sell the hotel and sell the room.
Yes.
Will you try and stay very focused? I know it's hard for you, but I do want all your charm, Mr. D.
I haven't got any.
Try not to be too irreverent or irrelevant.
Yes. That's right. But
OK?
But can the Rutland's owner step up his game and convince the ladies that his hotel can deliver the perfect Peak District wedding?
So, ladies, what do you think of the room?
Well, it's a blank canvas, so perfect for any colour, you know, obviously weddings.
Yeah, and the same for the floor, it makes an impact.
What's the average that brides spend on a wedding when they come and have a wedding here? Do you know that, Mr.
Haven't a clue. Haven't a clue. We're very old-fashioned here, I think, in terms of nothing has changed for the last 20 years, really, in terms of pricing and how we do things. The thing is really, now, is how to get the thing started, because no one here has a clue. They're all, you know, hopeless. I mean, we're lacking everything, really.
We produce a wedding magazine that goes to John Lewis and Debenham stores, and we can put you in our magazine for free in the venue section.
Yes, well, give us a call. You know, we've got a huge list of contacts. You know, suppliers, local suppliers that can provide, you know, everything you see.
Well, of course, I'm not the person there. You see, I'm a half-wit, so we need.
Darling, instead of being so negative, thank you very much is what he should have said. He's not very good at saying thank you, Mr. D.
No, well,
that's all right. No,
no,
all right. But darling, you've just had
listen,
darling, you've had a wonderful offer, and what you need to say is, yes, please, can I have your card?
Yes.
Instead of always thinking about the negatives, just say, yes, any help that you offer, I will gratefully accept.
Yes, that's essential.
Thank you.
With the business on a knife edge, Alex fears David's negative attitude might just make things worse.
Mr. D.
Yep.
So, darling, listen, I want you to be positive. You know, I'm doing my best I can to try and improve things here. And all you do is constantly run down the hotel. And I don't know how you expect people to then be willing to put their events in your hands when you keep on telling people how badly you do everything.
I'm marred in the past, as it were. I can just see how difficult it's going to be to alter the way the hotel is run.
But then just give up all hope. Close the doors, throw away the key, and just walk away from it all. Because if you honestly think now, what is the point?
But you must also think that I've been here 12 years, that I've actually lost £1 million since I've been here. And that's a pretty heavy burden to take, to carry.
I know, but stop the rot now, darling.
Absolutely,
Don't keep on harping on about what should have happened 10 years ago and didn't.
No.
It should happen this year, is what you should be saying. Right, this is the year that everything changes. Because otherwise, I can't be asked to do this. You know.
I'm sure you're right, Film, there. I'm sure you're right.
I am right.
Bum. Bum. Bollocks.
All three of those ladies were so enthusiastic and actually so pleasant to Mr. Donegan. On the other hand, he drove me completely potty because I was hoping that he would take more initiative and talk more to those ladies and get as much information as he could out of them instead of constantly harping on about the inadequacies of himself and the hotel.
Despite her frustration, Alex is prepared to give David one last chance to impress her and sell his struggling hotel. She wants to showcase the ballroom by hosting a special dance event. Alex will be inviting the press and some potentially valuable contacts in events organising. But without an enthusiastic and professional owner, it could be a disaster. 2 weeks later, and Alex is back, hoping the Rutland Arms and its owner are ready for the big event.
Oh, my dear.
Caught you catnapping.
Yes, my dear. I would like to have a
little snooze.
Snooze in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So, what are we doing?
Well, I want to find out what's been happening since I was last here.
Blow my nose. What's been happening to you last year?
Any good news for me?
Not really.
The good news is that Mr. Donegan has delegated responsibility for the smooth running of today's event to former receptionist Katie, Rutland's new deputy manager and events coordinator.
Hello.
Hi, are you right?
I'm good, doll. How are you?
I'm not bad, thank you.
I hear you've been given the title of Functions and Events Coordinator.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'm looking forward to, a challenge.
Although it seems like quite a lot to learn in the beginning, as long as you're kind of pretty organised, it's...
Very organised.
Well, that's good, Dad. Someone needs to be around here, and I'm glad that he's had the sense to put you in charge of something that he has absolutely no skill in doing, actually. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much.
See you later.
Thank you.
With Katie in charge, the setting up of the room runs like clockwork.
The two little mirrors there that need cleaning. That takes some shifting.
Swing dancing lessons are soon underway.
There's only one technical move in this whole class.
Testing the newly renovated dance floor to the max. But in the break before the big event, it's now time for Mr. Donegan to step into the fray and impress a journalist from Derbyshire Life magazine with his charm and wit.
You're going to behave?
Absolutely, yes.
Do you promise me?
Oh, indeed, yes, I will. I'll be really serious.
Okay.
Excellent, I will do my best.
Thank you, darling.
Good.
Follow me.
But while Alex does her bit to sell the positives,
I'm hoping that this will be the beginning of a whole new aspect of the hotel success. The restaurant's very good. I think there's nothing else in the centre of Bakewell that has this facility, and I think it's very underutilised. And
David's foot is heading firmly for his mouth.
The business has been run, really. It's been run very badly by me. The thing is, there's not much to be cheerful about or to smile about in the past. But there will be in the future, of course.
Good.
So,
That's the way you have to think,
yes.
isn't it? It's amazing what you've done here, and I really hope that you manage to, get to the next the next era of the hotel, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you very much indeed.
It's a close call, but the unpredictable owner has snatched victory from the jaws of defeat.
Beauty and the Beast, I won't say who the Beast is.
Thank you, how gallant.
The guests are happy.
Well, I last danced in 1954, so...
And the party gets into full swing. The new ballroom is a big hit.
Nice venue, good music.
And any hotel with a dance floor is going to have the place that's going to be rocking.
Huge potential.
Wonderful, we're having a great time. It's really gone extremely well. We will be doing some business with Rutland Arms, hopefully in the very near future.
Definitely tonight has made you see what you can do with the place. It'd be really good to try and sell anything now because you've seen what a simple dance can do.
It's great PR, and the event is even bringing in some income, with many of the dancers booking rooms for the night.
Isn't it wonderful to see that room full of people?
Oh, well, I've never seen it filled with people before. So, yes, it is. Up until this, we've really had no chance because there's been no one here with any enthusiasm, any knowledge.
I mean, if you could do 6 events a year in your quiet season, in the middle of the week, I feel enormously encouraged, Mr. D. I really do. I can see it being suitable for a lot of different occasions.
So at least now we know where we should be going. So that's a start, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's a start. The fact that you're on the right path has got to be a positive.
Yes, I think that's right. But my abiding memory of you was your lovely bosom. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I thought myself, I must not look at Alex. I got to look you in the eye. It was quite difficult, actually.
Why, thank you, darling.
It's first class for the hotel. And of course, I got to thank Alex because she has shown us the way forward. And all we have to do, hopefully, is follow her directions.
I'm so happy that the room is finally being used for what it was designed for. I just hope that even an iota of the enthusiasm of these dancers can transmit itself to Mr. Donegan to give him some faith and hope for the future.
Deep in the wilds of Suffolk lies Butley Priory, the home of part-time musician and former model Frances Cavendish. 21 years ago, Frances and her husband fell in love with the Priory on a trip to Suffolk. They started renting the building and helped transform the once dilapidated structure into a stylish family home.
It was very churchy and dark, and I really wanted it light and pretty, sort of make it fairy tale.
But the fairy tale took a dark turn 8 years ago when Frances's marriage came to an end.
It was a very, very dark time, and I had absolutely no money. And I just sat and reviewed my options and thought, what on earth could I do?
Because the Priory was rented, Frances feared she and her daughters would lose their beloved home. So, in desperation, Butley was converted into a 6-room B&B and wedding venue. The strategy paid off, but only just, and has yet to pay any real financial dividend.
At the moment, I regret to say we have nobody in, except about 5 staff.
The constant struggle to pay the rent impacts on Frances' real passion, her music. At 47, she's returned to college to study music part-time.
In an ideal world, music would come first in my life. But everyone has to have a day job, or I have to have a day job.
So Frances employs 2 cleaning ladies, a B&B manager and a wedding planner to run the business in her absence.
Hello, Butley Priory. Nancy.
I do seem to need an awful lot of people to keep it up to standard.
With punishing overheads and crippling staff costs, Frances is straining to stay afloat.
If we don't get more guests through the door, I'm going to have to call it a day and move out. I'm afraid that's the bottom line.
But she's determined not to lose the home she loves without a fight.
I probably thought about it every single day. Can I go on doing this? Or should I just accept what looks like defeat?
Her last roll of the die is to call on expert hotelier and renowned troubleshooter Ruth Watson.
This is truly stunning. Absolutely amazing building. And to my shame, it's only 3 miles down the road from the Crown and Castle where we have our own hotel. Frances and I know each other, but I've never been here before. And my God, the potential is enormous. It's fantastic.
But the potential has never been realised. Without prompt action, Frances and the B&B will become just another chapter of the Priory's long history.
Hello.
How very nice.
Ruth wants to find out more about how Frances manages the B&B and why such a seemingly beautiful building is failing to attract sufficient business.
How do people find out about you? How do they know you're here?
The website is our biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's really our only thing.
How else, apart from your website, do you market your weddings?
We don't, actually. I've only just got a full-time wedding organiser, Natalie.
Ah, so you have got somebody
I
doing
have
about weddings.
She basically runs everything, to be honest.
So she looks after all the B&B bookings that come in?
Candice and her do those together.
Who's Candice?
Candice does a certain amount of cleaning the rooms. She makes the breakfast and takes the B&B bookings.
Right. So you said a certain amount of cleaning the rooms. There's other
Well, I
people?
have other people as well, yes.
What do you do, Frances?
I really don't do much at all because I really want to pursue my other interest, which is music.
Do you feel in control at all?
Not of the finances, no.
So this place is really a bit the rudderless ship, isn't it?
I do, I think, have perhaps more input than you realise in terms of deciding what we have here.
Look and feel. But you don't want to do anything that actually sort of dirties your hands, as it were. My immediate thought from all of this is that to actually be employing a Natalie person, a Candice person, cleaning people for a place this size and saying, I actually don't do much myself, those people are a luxury you can't afford.
To get a guest's eye view of the Priory, Ruth will stay overnight.
Have you ever thought about hiring this out for shoot locations, you know?
It's yet another thing I've thought about, but I must admit I haven't got round to doing, no.
Frances has booked Ruth into a premium room, the grandly named West Wing, with an equally grand price. A night's B&B costs £175. Guests paying that much should expect first-class facilities, toiletries and state-of-the-art bathrooms.
What a beautiful, huge, romantic, lovely room. Completely see why you think it's worth 175. I'm not entirely sure I agree with you yet because I need to look at bathrooms and things. But,
fair enough.
But it does on first sight look very, very stunning, really does.
Yes,
very lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's no doubt that this room is incredibly gracious. I mean, it's got beautiful proportions and it's utterly charming. The problem is, has it got the facilities you need? Over here, we've got one of my bête noirs, UHT milk with really cheap little instant coffee things. Over here, I mean, bedside water, that's lovely, but it's in a plastic bottle, not a glass bottle. This is not the kind of scenario you expect for £175.
So far, Ruth is not convinced the rooms are worth the price Frances is charging. But how will Frances deal with Ruth's frank opinion?
Has nobody else ever said, I can't wash my hair, I'm going out tonight, or I've got a wedding tomorrow? Or...
You know how polite people are.
They are, on the whole. I'm not.
This is Butley Priory, a 6-bedroom B&B in the wooded heathlands off Suffolk's coast. For the last 21 years, it's also been the family home of Frances Cavendish, a former model and passionate musician. But Frances is in trouble. Her finances are in such dire straits that her residency at Butley Priory may soon be a thing of the past.
If we don't get more guests through the door, I'm going to have to call it a day and move out. I'm afraid that's the bottom line.
In a last bid to hold on to her beloved home, she's called on expert hotelier Ruth Watson. She's already established the Priory's marketing is woefully inadequate, and the rooms may be overpriced at a hefty £175 per night. Ruth's inspection of the West Wing reveals an unusual bathroom arrangement. The ensuite is at the bottom of a steep flight of stairs.
Well, I can instantly see the problem that I'm going to have with this bathroom because it has absolutely no shower facility whatsoever. I do think not being able to wash your hair is pretty serious.
Next, Ruth heads to the Moroccan room, the smallest at the Priory, priced at £130 per night.
This is called the Moroccan room, and there's a little bit of curtaining and cushion as a gesture. The first thing I see, though, is the fact that there's a small double bed and there is nowhere on the other side to get into it. The other part of the room is literally the ensuite. I've got a wash-hand basin here with a cracked basin and cracked tiling. And I've got a tub here with nowhere to put anything. Very Moroccan.
The Priory doesn't have a lounge, bar or restaurant, so guests must spend all their time in their room.
I would not want to be incarcerated up here for 2 days. I personally would be very peeved.
The following morning, Frances is nervous about what lies ahead.
I did wake up this morning thinking, oh no. Today's the day when I'm gonna get mashed up.
In the kitchen, housekeepers Christine and Joyce are helping B&B manager Candace to prepare breakfast.
Candace is feeling very nervous this morning about cooking breakfast, and normally she's fine and everything, goes well, but this morning, as Ruth Watson is here, it's a bit scary.
It's a bit nerve-wracking, so I don't want her to think the food's not cooked properly.
Oh, good morning, Ruth.
Hello, Frances, how are you?
Very well, how are you?
Yes, not so bad at all, thank you.
Did you sleep well?
As well as can be expected. I'm not the greatest traveller.
No, nobody's bed is quite like your own,
No,
is it?
it isn't.
I
It
agree.
isn't.
Breakfast at the Priory is served in the splendour of the Great Hall.
This is possibly the nicest room I've ever had breakfast in. The light's flooding and it's just a joy. Fresh flowers on the table. Love the fact that all the jams and marmalades in the pots and the butter's real. So far, very lovely.
It's like having your worst kind of headmistress. It's there the whole time, isn't it?
I think some cooking lessons are required. Scrambled eggs are a bit lumpy looking, and these sausages might be very tasty, but they're quite little and chipolata-like. They're very tasty. Actually, they're lovely. But definitely eats better than it looks.
I thought that was pretty good, actually. Yeah, well done. Well done.
The Great Hall is used as a venue for weddings, so Ruth is keen to explore the gardens, a key component of any successful bridal venue.
There's a framework to these gardens with the beech hedge, but the internal part of the garden really lets things down. Frankly, it's quite scruffy. The focal point is not a focal point, it's really rather grim. And there's scruffy bits like fallen masonry here. What I think the problem is for any potential bride is to see exactly where her photographs would be taken. So I think we've got to look at this and provide a focal point, somewhere where the bride can say, yes, this is where I'm going to stand and this is where I'm going to look truly beautiful.
Recently, Frances has employed a wedding planner to try and improve the flagging sales. Natalie has been in the post for 3 months, but her working relationship with Frances has seen a few teething troubles.
Have you had any moments where you've wanted to get Frances on board with an idea? Have you got some ideas that you'd like her to pick up with and run, and that she doesn't want to, or she holds you back? Or?
No, I've had plenty of ideas about events that we can hold here, and sort of residential courses that we could have here. So it's just having the opportunity to actually sit down and discuss them and find out whether Frances wants to go through with them or not.
Right. Do you think the reason she's not sitting down discussing them is that she's basically sort of slightly frightened of going that other step and doesn't really want people in the building?
Possibly. It's quite hard to see 80 people sprawled all over the place, being sick and you know, wrecking your home. It's quite hard. So I think there can be a bit of reticence between actually wanting all these people in the home where you've actually raised your family.
At the end of the day, the whole purpose is for Frances to be able to live here.
Armed with a clearer understanding of the business, Ruth sits Frances down to discuss her experience at the Priory, starting with her bedroom, the West Wing.
If I just briefly tell you about my experience as a guest, in the West Wing, there is just absolutely no facility for washing your hair. I mean, that's the room you're charging £175 for. No argument with the bedroom at all, it's beautiful. But I do have a big issue with the bathroom. Has nobody else ever said, I can't wash my hair, I'm going out tonight, or I've got a wedding tomorrow? Or...
You know how polite people are.
They are, on the whole. I'm not.
As the facilities aren't up to scratch, Ruth wants to discuss the prices.
How many rooms have you sold at 175?
You'll have to ask Candice and thingy, because we literally haven't done it since December, because we had to pay this enormous VAT for the first time bill.
Yeah, you cannot punish your customers with your problems. That's another thing.
Well, I can't pay VAT out of my own
I understand that, but it is far better to have 4 rooms sold 80% of the time at £130 than it is 4 rooms sold at £175 at 25% of the time.
Yes, I see what you mean.
It's become clear that Frances's main priority is to safeguard her home and make enough money to pursue her music. Ruth needs to come up with a tactic that will motivate this reluctant businesswoman.
The feeling I get more and more is that this is somewhere you want to live, it's somewhere that you need to derive an income from, but the love of this business is not coursing in your veins, right?
No.
And at first I was a little miffed about this. Then I started to think, right, okay, let's get over this. Let's get over this point. I had to get over it as well as you have to get over it. So how can we do this? How can we get Frances to be living in her beloved building, sharing it a bit, but not to the point where she actually feels resentful about it? I'm building up to the big thing here. What I'm proposing is that you don't actually do B&B at all.
Oh, good Lord.
If this place is used for functions, events and weddings that actually produce a large amount of revenue, it frees you up totally to do the music thing, and it gives you back the house totally for yourself outside those specific days.
But if Butley's to work as a location, the featureless garden needs some work.
There's certain aspects of the garden specifically, which I want to talk to you about, where I think we could really major on photo ops for brides and things and say, look, could this be transformed, this little corner, into something that's wonderful, the weddings, and, you know, that photographs can be taken of and used in the brochure, whatever we're going to do. Does that sound at all exciting?
Well, it does. It sounds absolutely thrilling, actually.
Ruth's plan would mean big changes at Butley. Most importantly, Ruth wants Frances to start to phase out the B&B and focus on lucrative events, weddings and location work instead. This could free Frances up to concentrate on her music instead of dealing with the day-to-day work of the B&B.
Ruth just left and I'm completely flabbergasted and mind-blown by what she said, actually.
But until Frances can afford to phase the B&B out altogether, she needs to make it more appealing. Ruth wants her to lower her prices, pay greater attention to detail in the bedrooms, and improve the quality of the bathrooms. Finally, if Butley's to succeed as a venue, then the grounds need work. Ruth wants to replace the bare lawns with a distinctive garden that'll look good in photographs. This should encourage people to use the Priory for money-spinning weddings and shoots. But first, Frances will need to be taken on by a location agency that would promote the Priory to the film, television and photographic industries. Sarah Eastall runs her own location business. She's come to assess whether the Priory is a suitable candidate to go on her books.
Saw you coming.
It's Sarah.
No.
It's vital the Priory and Frances make a good impression.
This is the Great Hall.
It is, isn't it?
It is great,
It's rather,
isn't it? Yeah.
It's rather lovely. It's beautiful vaulted ceiling. I'm really excited about the ground floor of the property particularly. The light is great, the vaulted ceilings are wonderful, the scale of the building is terrific. It's got that shabby chic air. All in all, I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, I'm beginning to look at the whole place in a bit of a different way, with a bit of a different focus, and I'm thinking much more about the place as a location. I do feel apprehensive because I don't know anything about it. So yeah, I'm kind of a bit worried, a bit excited, both.
Finally, Sarah views the gardens, an area where Ruth has voiced concern.
The garden's not really showing the majesty that the property itself has. It's a bit small, it's a bit tired, there aren't many features, there are things that are brown and they're going to remain brown for many months. So from that point of view, it would be good to get that sorted out a little bit.
Sarah has made her decision.
What do you reckon?
Well, I think certainly the exterior and the ground floor are absolutely terrific. Upstairs, it's a little bit more tricky. The garden isn't the prettiest in the world. But what I'd like to say yes. You know, we'd like to take you on, we'd like to promote you and just see how it goes. I can't guarantee, obviously, to get you business, but I would like to have a darn good try.
Fantastic.
Okay.
It's more than okay with me.
With a bit of clever marketing, a bit of pushing, I would like to think we could attract some crews down here.
With so much at stake and with Natalie a relative novice in the wedding planning game, Ruth has whisked her 30 miles down the road to Le Talbot, an established and successful wedding venue. Each year, Le Talbot turns over millions of pounds of wedding business, and Ruth thinks Butley could benefit from their expertise.
I've only ever worked at Butley Priory, so from my point of view, from personal experience, it'd be great to see how another wedding venue functions.
Hello, Paul. Can I introduce Natalie?
Pleased to meet you.
And
Welcome.
Paul is the master of weddings. The Talbot, they absolutely know what they're doing, and I hope he's going to share some of his great knowledge with you.
Fantastic.
Natalie's got some questions, I think, to ask you.
Yes, I have.
Firstly, you've got to project the total confidence of the business to look after this. People are naturally nervous. This may be the one party in their life that they're going to spend this sort of money on. So getting that material out there in the marketplace that really sells your property and the USPs that you've got, whether it be the beauty of the building, the quality of the food or whatever, that's really the important thing.
The gardens at Le Talbot are vital to their success, so Paul is keen to stress the importance of a venue's appearance.
If you've got unsightly areas, you need to fence them off, and because people are very, very fussy, and quite rightly so. I mean, ultimately, you hope that the quality of what you do is the thing that talks.
For Natalie, the visit has brought home Butley's failings.
Being able to compare Butley to somewhere such as Le Talbot has been really useful. The fact that their gardens are so beautifully presented and ours, while they're very nice, can be a little bit wild and don't necessarily present many photo opportunities.
And it's not just Butley's gardens that aren't up to standard.
I think Frances is going to have to learn how to make a decision about how she runs her business with a much more business-like head on her shoulders.
Back at Butley, Frances is also reviewing the gardens. Ruth has asked designer Frankie Shrapnel to help make the grounds more of a feature. It will be her task to inject some excitement and glamour into the space.
This is the area where you want to make the garden?
Yes. Ruth thought, and she's right, there isn't sort of anything at all happening here.
Well, it's ideal in a way because you've already got a formal structure to it. You've got yew hedges here. If we made sort of like a little enclosed space with some more yew hedging,
Oh, I see.
And within that
That's nice.
space, we had some pavings. And I think
How exciting.
if we had an ironwork, some kind of structure, very, very simple structure to train some plants over it.
Oh, really?
So that you have a sort of like an arbour effect. So, you know, you can pick up the shapes, the wonderful shape of the architecture of the building.
I'm quite relieved, actually, because I think I think what she's got in mind is going to be quite nice. And I'm totally glad she isn't going to come up with a couple of gnomes in a water feature.
Butley's gardens may be looking rosy, but only time will tell if the Priory can make it as a successful venue. Will the team be able to cope with their first function under Ruth's watchful eye?
Where's the activity? All I see are people putting up fucking fairy lights.
For the past 21 years, Frances Cavendish has been a tenant at Butley Priory. 8 years ago, after her divorce, she was forced to turn her home into a B&B in order to pay the rent. But the business failed to take off, and with debts rapidly mounting, Frances has turned to expert hotelier Ruth Watson for help. But Ruth quickly realised that Frances's heart doesn't lie in being a landlady.
What do you do, Frances?
I really don't do much at all because I really want to pursue my other interest, which is music.
So Ruth's strategy has been to gently wean Frances off the B&B and get her to concentrate on more profitable events, weddings and location work.
What I'm proposing is that you don't actually do B&B at all.
Oh, good Lord.
Ruth is back at Butley to give Frances some news. To get her used to the Priory being a location, Ruth has arranged a bridal magazine fashion shoot.
We're working with a very, very glossy wedding shoot. And while you wouldn't get any revenue for it, what you would get was fantastic exposure. It's going to take place here within the next month.
Really?
Yes.
With the shoot in just a few weeks, Ruth is also keen to discuss the plans for Butley's new garden.
Oh, that's great.
And there's going to be this lovely sort of pergola.
Yes, yeah.
I like the shape of this cross. It's very
Yes, very
nice and
yes.
ecclesiastically.
And it is, doesn't it?
Isn't
it?
it?
Echoes the feeling of the building. Well, that looks as if it's going to be a winning plan.
I'm so excited about it.
So far, Ruth's approach has been to gently persuade the reluctant landlady to do more for her guests, but she's still concerned that Frances is charging far too much.
Have you reconsidered the idea of perhaps dropping the bed and breakfast element in order to give you back a life?
Yes, I've considered it and am considering it daily, but I don't see how financially we would ever actually be able to do that.
What I would say to you loud and clear, though, is that if you are going to continue with the B&B, I really think that you've got to embrace it more wholeheartedly. If I'm going to be really blunt, you can't be greedy about it. You can't have it both ways.
No.
You've just got to raise your ante on that
Yes.
and lower your prices a bit.
And do it one way or the other, yes.
Yeah.
OK, Ruth.
Yes,
Point
okay.
taken.
But despite Ruth's words, Frances still seems reluctant to lower her prices.
I'm not greedy by nature, but I'm just incredibly conscious of the bills and having to make ends meet here. But, you know, the overdraft is not noticeably shifted. So, you know, I need to take what I can get.
Frances has to market Butley as a venue for functions if the business is to survive. So plans are afoot to open the Priory up to the public. A free jazz concert in the garden could give hundreds of potential customers a chance to see what Butley has to offer. Planned for the same day as the location shoot, it could be a turning point for Frances's fortunes. But will her love of music come before the business? With both events taking place in just 4 weeks, Frankie Shrapnel is starting work on the gardens.
I'm a bit apprehensive. I hope they're not going to make too much mess, actually.
The centrepiece of the design is an arbour made of cast iron.
Beautiful. It's very simple and direct and plain and minimal.
It's been delivered in one piece and it weighs a ton. Have you tried lifting it?
No.
Lift it.
Oh, my God. I see what you mean. Your problem, Frankie.
But while the garden's in a state of change, some things remain the same. After weeks of mulling over Ruth's words, Frances has decided not to lower her prices.
Ruth thought that we were too expensive. At the moment, the prices haven't changed.
It's mad to bring the prices down when people seem to be perfectly happy paying them at the weekends. So I'm a bit reluctant to bring them down because I would argue with her on that point. And I think people actually, pay a lot of money to come for the whole experience. It's not just the bedroom and the bathroom.
Frances is still Frances. Her first passion is music, and she's learning to become a businesswoman. She needs time for ideas to sink in and things get implemented slowly.
But time is a luxury Frances and Butley no longer have.
I was looking at the bank statement again this morning, and I need to be fully booked most of the time.
Her ultimate decision will be she'll do what she believes is right for her, I think, rather than the business.
It's a beautiful May morning in Suffolk, 3 months since Ruth first arrived at the Priory. A pivotal day lies ahead for Butley. The Priory is to host a fashion shoot for a bridal magazine throughout the day.
They're coming to do a shoot here of hopefully some very gorgeous models in some very beautiful dresses, and they're going to be using Butley Priory as their location for the day.
And in the evening, Frances and her jazz band will be playing a free concert for locals in the grounds. Making the public aware that the building can be used as a venue could drum up more business. With so much at stake, it's crucial the day runs as smoothly as possible. So Ruth has arrived to offer her guidance. But first, she's keen to view the finished garden with Frances and its designer. The once barren lawn is now a secluded courtyard filled with cherry blossom, making it a pleasant spot for guests to relax in the shade of the trees. The medieval priory is now complemented by the steel arbour, which echoes its elegant arches. It's provided the garden with the strong focal point that had been lacking.
Wow! Wow!
Isn't it so
Frankie, this is a triumph.
It is, isn't it?
Have people seen it already? Are they pleased with it?
They love it, yes. And when the brides come to look around at the weekends, they nearly always say, "Ooh, can we get married in it?"
In it?
Yes.
Oh, well, I can understand why. You just feel there's something very special about this.
Oh, yes, did you know we're calling it the Poet's Garden, Ruth?
The Poet's Garden?
That's
terribly romantic.
The garden will be featured in the first photo shoot later in the day. The bedrooms are overflowing with bridal paraphernalia, while in the West Wing, the models are being made up. But for now, photographer Susanna is trying to find a good location inside the Priory.
Hi Susie, have you got everything you need at all? Or,
Yeah, I don't need anything. We're just trying to find the best place to photograph without the light coming through the window, so.
Despite the importance of the shoot, Frances is conspicuous by her absence. Ruth is concerned that Natalie's not getting the support she needs on such a vital day.
Now, how has Frances been coping with all this? Or is it you that's been doing all the coping?
Frances has been taking on her fair share, I have to say. Her main priority at the moment is obviously her performance tonight.
Sure. Do you think long-term she's going to be able to cope with the fact that there will be quite a lot of days when this place is actually heaving with parties and people enjoying themselves?
I'm not sure, to be truthfully honest. She looked at the diary yesterday and sort of almost reeled back in horror at how busy we were going to be, but is obviously quite pleased at the same time.
It's always been one of my concerns, and I've said it to Frances, and I'm going to say it again, is that she can't be greedy about this. You know, you cannot have it both ways. You're either going to take the money and you're going to have lots of business and you're going to have lots of profit, but the downside is you've got to share your house with some strangers.
The photo shoot is finally underway, but it's not going entirely to plan.
Do you want the silver or the white? No, it's gone right round. It's right round there.
Today we were aiming to do 8 dresses, which is what we'd normally do in a day. The sun, though, has been very harsh. The midday sun, when we started shooting, was probably giving us too much contrast, light and shadow, so we had to wait. So we've sort of lost a couple hours shooting time.
And then I
But the shoot is finally picking up pace, unlike the preparations for tonight's jazz picnic. The event is meant to sell Butley to hundreds of potential customers. But with no sign of Francis, Natalie and Candace are left to make sure everything's in place. In less than 5 hours' time, over 120 people are due to descend upon the garden. Ruth is concerned.
Where's the activity? You cannot hold an event of this magnitude without serious underpinning and structure. All I see are people putting up fucking fairy lights. Natalie's a great girl. I just hope she has got this under control, because at the moment I'm not seeing any of the sense of activity that you would normally see for an event this size.
The plan had been for the guests to picnic outside as the sun sets, watching Frances and her band play. But it's early May and there's a chill in the air, so Frances has elected to perform inside the warmth of the Great Hall, out of sight of her guests.
Now, the music. I see it's set up here, and I'm rather concerned because you have 120 people coming. We're assuming it's going to be lovely out there, but it does get colder in the evening even when...
Well, that's what I thought. That's why I thought we'd set it up in here. And then
So-
at 8:30, when we start playing, I was hoping somebody would announce that the band is going to start playing, and if anybody wants seats, please come in.
Right. There's obviously nothing like enough seating for 120 people. You're in danger of alienating half of your audience. I really think that the music should be there.
I think you're going to get lost at the back of the hall. I think you should be there and sort of the entrance where everyone can see. Yeah.
We're thinking...
Freeze to death.
I think this is almost symbolic of where the whole problem of you as a hotelier lies. You want it to be the way you want it to be, and unfortunately those 120 people have all got in their minds...
For my convenience,
yes,
primarily.
The words came out of her own mouth.
Okay,
just give in, Frances.
I agree that I'm probably going to have to give in.
Don't forget, this is not just an ego trip, it's not just a lovely evening of music. You're here to
Definitely
sell
not.
Butley.
Yeah.
Time to sell the idea to the reluctant businesswoman.
I mean, can't you just see it? The band's all out here, and you are focal, right in the middle of the thing. Frances, this is my house, you're here, lit. To segregate the audience and to have one half of them feeling hard done by and the other half having a wonderful time is not the way to promote this place. And that, let us not lose sight, that's what we're doing.
Yes, that is what we want them to think in the long run.
Okay, take your sunglasses off and tell me that.
Yes, Ruth, that is what we are aiming at.
Good.
Frances has finally conceded defeat.
Get this, we are playing outside now. They've decided they do want us outside.
Now Natalie has to accelerate the pace. There's a lot to do and time is slipping away.
I'm feeling pretty calm considering things are going to be starting in an hour and a half or so. At the moment, we're waiting for the musicians to arrive so that they can shuffle everything around.
But despite the amount of work that needs to be done, Frances is nowhere to be seen.
It doesn't surprise me that Frances has gone for a nap. She's probably having a power nap and trying to calm her nerves before things get going tonight.
The person most noticeable for her absence is Frances. And yeah, I know she's worried about her performance tonight. At the moment, it's too much about Frances and her piano and not enough about the business of Butley. And I just think increasingly that the three things, Butley, Priory, Frances and work, are just incompatible.
With Frances napping and the musicians yet to arrive, Ruth takes matters into her own hands and moves the equipment outside. And to further complicate matters, the team from the wedding magazine have yet to photograph the new garden.
Yeah.
They've been waiting for dusk to exploit the best light.
That's lovely. And flick that hair back a little bit.
6 o'clock, about an hour to go. Things are hotting up. There are signs of activity. Thank God the musicians have arrived. So the real problem, though, is behind me is the photo shoot, which I think should have finished about 2 hours ago and is still going strong. So it's like having 2 wedding parties clashing at the same event at the moment.
With less than 2 hours to kick off, Frances has finally put in an appearance.
I need a strong man at my side at all times.
Amidst the predicted chaos, another surprise.
No.
About 55 minutes to go, and guess what? The first guests have arrived. Frances' only concern is the musicians and, whether they're happy and where all the equipment's going in. Of course she needs to do that, I wouldn't deny it for the world, but I think we're running a parallel event here. One is music and Francis and playing the piano, and the other one is something that's meant to be selling the wonders of Butley Priory. It's slightly distressing.
I see that people have already turned up. It's not even quite 6:30, and they've been invited for 7:30.
Hello, my name is Morris.
Natalie's evening is moving into overdrive. The guests are flooding into the makeshift car park and streaming through the Poet's Garden.
Well, find yourself a spot, and there's tea and coffee, and there's a bar available as well, so make yourselves at home.
Despite the plummeting temperature, the guests seem untroubled, including Ruth.
Well, I'm pleased to say that the British gung-ho spirit is in full evidence tonight. Bitterly cold, but everyone's here, huddled up, having a great time. I have got the look, the Gore-Tex gloves, and the glass of champagne, as every British picnicker should have.
As the crowds take their place, Frances has yet to get ready for her performance.
I haven't got changed yet, but I'm not playing till 8:30, so I think that'll be all right.
A substantial crowd has now gathered on the lawn of the Priory. Each of the 120 guests could be a potential customer. The moment of truth has arrived, but will Frances be able to pull it off?
I'm starting to feel a bit shit scared right now.
For the past 4 months, Ruth Watson has been trying to guide Butley Priory, a luxury B&B in Suffolk, out of financial trouble. Ruth wants to steer the business away from B&B towards the more lucrative wedding and event market. The Priory has been used as a location for a fashion shoot in a bridal magazine. But now it's time for the main event. 120 people are gathered together on the Priory's lawn for a jazz performance. If they're impressed with Butley as a venue, it could be a turning point for Frances and the business. There's everything to play for.
I just wish I could be somebody who has a normal, nice, quiet life. A 9-to-5 job, going home in the evening and watching telly. That sounds a very nice option to me at the moment. I think we'd better go out and play them some music. I'm starting to feel a bit shit scared right now. Thank you so much. My baby gonna bleed. He done me wrong. He's the one who makes the sentences too long. He's the one who makes it difficult.
But will the Priory inspire anyone enough to hire it out?
I'd certainly had thought of hiring Butley Priory for an event. It's perfect. It's a fine venue. Look at these flint walls. Just really look at the trees around us. Listen to the birds. That's really good.
It's absolutely outstanding.
Just a fabulous atmosphere here.
Yes. It's so romantic place to get married. I recommend it to everyone.
But what does Ruth think?
She's passionate about her music. It's the only thing I've seen her passionate about. She revels in it. She loves it. This is quite obviously her life. Of course, the problem for me as a hotelier is that I've wanted her to actually take on that role, and I don't think it's ever going to happen, to be quite honest. The best hope is that Natalie hangs on in here. Everything can be successful here. Maybe it has to be successful without Frances.
The following morning, and Ruth is back for the last time. She's eager to find out from Natalie if the event has sparked any interest.
Hello, Natalie. Morning.
Hello.
Wow, that seemed to go very well last night, didn't it?
I think it was a roaring success.
Yeah?
I had numerous people approach me last night about all sorts of events that they'd like to hold here.
Yeah.
And then somebody else said, oh, my daughter's a fashion editor of a certain magazine and this would be fabulous for a location shoot.
I am concerned, though, that looking at the website, the rates are still stonkingly high.
I know. I would agree with you, Ruth.
Have you spoken to Frances about it?
We have. Candice and I have spoken to Frances about it because we lose quite a bit of business.
Yeah. I do need to talk to her about that because I don't want her bleating about, oh, but, you know, I can't lose the B&B, but actually the B&B isn't doing very well, but when it's so obvious.
In 4 months, it appears there's been little progress with the prices. Ruth has tracked Frances down to the Great Hall for one last discussion.
There are various reasons for lack of B&B business, but I'm telling you that the price is far, far and away the most telling factor. You're just not going to get the people in. It's too expensive for what you're offering. It doesn't matter that the room's beautiful and the light's beautiful and the bed linen is wonderful. It's just such an off-putting figure. And I want you to look at it in a really practical manner.
I haven't charged less than £150 for the last 3 years.
Yes,
I'm
but
really
what has
unlikely
your
to go below.
occupancy been, Francis? You can charge what you like. You can charge 250 quid, £500 a night. If it's an empty room, it's meaningless.
OK, Ruth, well, we'll try it.
I don't see what you've got to lose.
No.
Frances has surrendered her stubborn position on pricing, but Ruth has one final point she wants to drive home.
The biggest problem I have as a straightforward hotelier is that you are so not. And it's not something...
No, I don't pretend to be a fantastic businesswoman hotelier, but I, at the same time, would like the business to be successful enough to enable me to continue living here as a musician. It's a bit of a lot to ask, I know.
It isn't a lot to ask as long as you don't get greedy about it.
Yes,
this is the real number one thing. I understand that music is your life. I understand that hotel keeping isn't. But you can't have your cake and eat it. You've got to be giving something back, and that giving something back is allowing people in your building. Do you feel mentally that you've made any progress in accommodating the idea that you have to share this house with people if you're going to get an income from it?
Yes, I want to share this house with people. Please come in.
Keep that in your head. Look at that person. You're paying my bills.
Yeah, absolutely. You're enabling me to you know, carry on my musical life, which is the way I try and look at it. I'm really, really feeling that this can and will work.
For the moment, keep in touch.
I
Phone
will.
me up.
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
Great
so much.
learning.
Very good luck.
It really
Very good
has
luck.
been such a help and
Well, I hope so.
inspiration having you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Take care.
I should be quite sad to see Ruth go, you know, compared to how I was feeling in January and to how I was feeling last night. I'm like two different people. It's been very illuminating.
With Frances, there's always going to be the dichotomy. How does she balance the fact that she wants to stay living here, she needs the income, but she's got to act a little bit more like a hotelier? She assures me that that's the case and that she's learnt a lot. I have a few doubts, but I really hope so, because she does love it here, and the music last night was fantastic, and I wish them all every success.
The Bodkin House, near Badminton, Gloucestershire. 11 years ago, 68-year-old advertising exec Don Falconer and his wife Eileen bought the 17th century coaching inn, dreaming of a more relaxed life in the country.
Wouldn't it be nice to have the restful life of serving people bed and breakfast?
But with business proving tough, Don and Eileen have had to get far more hands-on than they ever expected. So the Bodkin isn't always a haven of peace and tranquility.
This is still too cold.
I haven't done that one yet.
That was rubbish. We've always had a very volatile relationship. That's fine. It's fine.
Control freak.
She thinks I'm a pushy bastard. Move those chairs and then grab the end. She thinks I'm a control freak. That one. She thinks I think no one else can do anything as well as I can.
Yes, quite.
Oh, well done. By the way, Eileen, when you have a moment, could you phone Lucy? No, you've got to say with...
Well, I have answered the
You
question.
haven't. I was a pain in the arse when I worked for a living, and I'm a pain in the arse occasionally now.
Not occasionally.
Despite no prior experience in the hotel trade, the Falconers have ploughed around £400,000 into refurbishments, proudly creating a hotel in their own image.
I don't think we have any particular style.
I'm bridling under the word that we have no style.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't mean
I know
no
you did.
style as
But-
such. I mean...
So you're not supposed to be speaking?
Sorry.
At the Bodkin, room numbers have been banished. replaced by the names of famous female writers.
This is Jane Austen room. Literature from Jane Austen. But what we have done, against a background of post-minimalist, we have themes of the author concerned. This room's Beatrix Potter, in line with the theme.
Yet the success they've dreamed of continues to elude them.
We have a lovely restaurant which is relatively empty most nights of the week. I have no doubt that when it comes to it, we'll have made a loss last year. That's very demoralising.
Enter the hotel inspector. Don and Eileen are hoping renowned hotelier Alex Polizzi can help revitalise their flagging fortunes.
Well, it could do with a bit of a sweep, and the plants need some attention, but look at these lovely grounds. Overall, the effect is really charming.
To get to the bottom of the Bodkins' problems, Alex will stay the night.
Hello.
You must be Don.
I am.
Very
Hello,
nice
Good to meet you, indeed. This is my wife, Eileen.
Nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you. Thank you very much for inviting me here.
Bodkin House has 11 ensuite rooms, priced from £70 per night, all with a literary theme. Alex has been allocated the one named after the author of Little Women.
Louisa May Alcott. I mean, there is not even an attempt. There's not even a book in here by her. This is not a themed room, this is a named room, which is very different.
It's clear that at the Bodkin, you can't judge a book by its cover.
I'm very disappointed. I expected something much more country from the outside, and I'm sure that everyone feels like that. You know, OK, there's a leather chair. That is the only nod to the countryside.
We like a contrast between a lovely old building, refurbished so it has all the modern amenities. That reflects our personal taste, and we feel it would attract like-minded people. And quite frankly, it's how we would decorate our own home.
I mean, it is rarely that I've ever seen an uglier bed. I can't stand the bed, I can't stand the bedside lights. I can't believe there's that wall light there with an energy-saving light bulb sticking out the top. I'd like to take down these stupid little pictures. You know, some vague Victorian woman. Yup, a bit better. We have the prison hangers, of course.
And when this little woman explores the little girl's room...
Gosh, I haven't seen a scalloped sink in many a year. And actually looking up close, the cleaning leaves quite a lot to be desired. Look at this shelf, and look at how dusty that is. So either it hasn't been used in ages, or their cleaning routines are crap.
Alex also finds the room dedicated to Jane Eyre's author is nothing to write home about.
If you're going to bother to call a room after Charlotte Bronte, surely you can do better than a couple of dog-eared paperbacks. Ah, that's really dirty. And there's just no excuse for it. I tell every hotelier I ever meet that cleanliness is a basic. The whole room, the more I look, the more ill-conceived everything is. This place should have been all cosy, and it should be like the kind of place you turn up at the country and you think, oh, this is my dream, to run and own something like this. All the characters have been taken out of it. It's amazing.
We think it should reflect the personalities and the taste of the owners. Now, Eileen and I are arguing all the time about what that should be, but what we don't want this place to be is a traditional coaching inn with hunting horns and all the rest of it around it. It's not us.
These days, everyone is looking for the genuine article, and this property just can't decide what it wants to be.
Former advertising exec Don Falconer and his wife Eileen bought the Bodkin House near Badminton, dreaming of an easier life. But after 11 years in charge, the reality is anything but.
I've mentioned it to Mike, he probably doesn't know what I'm talking about.
OK, we're knackered.
So they've called on award-winning hotelier Alex Polizzi for help. So far, she's discovered a limp literary theme.
If you're going to bother to call a room after Charlotte Bronte, surely you can do better than a couple of dog-eared paperbacks.
And housekeeping that's more dirty book than Booker Prize.
Ah.
Alex enjoys some morning exercise in the Bodkins' picturesque surroundings. She's beginning to think the difference between inside and out could be the root of the hotel's problems.
Looking at the outside, I feel incredibly positive, but I can't avoid the fact that the inside just doesn't match that exterior.
The identity crisis may be one reason the restaurant is currently far from a bestseller.
This has no character, no taste, no style. It's a pretty miserable place to hang out. I don't know what this room is trying to be, and I'm an expert. Imagine how their customers feel.
People walk in and say, no, we're sitting in the bar. So we just want to know why.
I absolutely hate sitting there, having brought your harp to the party and no one's asked you to play. In other words, you're empty.
Do you really want to sit here pre-dinner? No, of course you don't.
It's a similar story in the 17th century coaching inn's function room come breakfast area.
Ugh. I absolutely loathe this room. I loathe everything about it. It is stereotypically corporate. It's completely sterile. It sucks the lifeblood out of the whole building.
The Bodkins' popular bar is the final chapter in Alex's tour.
Well, this room is much the most attractive that I've seen so far in the whole building. It may be something of an architectural pastiche. It was added on much later to look old. But this is what you want from a country inn. You want a bit of nice wood panelling, you know, you want flagstone floor.
But are the restaurant's problems more than skin deep? Alex wants to sample a selection of Don and Eileen's dishes. And like so many of the Bodkins' guests, she chooses the bar to dine in.
All I bloody want is a bit of bloody lemon.
We can always criticise the food anywhere. I mean, there aren't many top restaurants that I haven't been to. Very few, in fact. But I can, if you want me to, I'll criticise certain things.
I wouldn't necessarily do the same dressing on every salad.
But it seems Don's confidence in the food is well placed.
Looking at all the dishes that there are on the menu, and also what I've eaten today, everything's very nicely presented, and more importantly than that, of course, tastes delicious. So I really don't think that food is the problem here.
The hotel inspector has seen enough and is ready to present her plan to the Bodkins' proud owners. First, she wants the Falconers to concentrate on making the function and breakfast room more country than clinical.
I have to say, this is my least favourite room in the whole building.
Oh, really?
You've bought a lovely building in the most beautiful part of Gloucestershire, and then you've made this room look like a corporate conference room in a chain hotel. I don't like the generic art on the walls. I don't like the fact that actually it just feels like, I mean, you could be staying at a Holiday Inn or a travel lodge, or, you know, this is not a room that says to me Gloucestershire, that says to me Bodkin House. I just think we need to make people who are having breakfast in here remember where they are.
Sure.
Do you disagree with anything I say so far?
I'm railing against your first comments. I've got to digest those. to give you a considered response. I think that's the way I'd like to leave it.
Next, Alex wants to transform the decor in the frequently empty restaurant herself.
You know, it has no ambience at all. And that is because it is such a hodgepodge of styles.
Sure.
I mean, if you actually look around, you've got quite old-fashioned draped curtains. You've got these 2 sofas, which are obviously rejects from old houses. I think that I could make this a very different room because I would just like to inject it with the real personality, even if it's a pastiche personality that you have in the bar.
Upstairs, Alex thinks the Bodkin's confused personality also needs tackling.
Do we want to do a room?
Yes.
Should we do a bedroom?
For the full barrels.
Now, again, I find that you're giving very mixed messages in this bedroom.
Sure.
Between things like the very modern bed, the leather chair, and this rather odd Louisa May Alcott connection.
But it seems Don may be on a different page to the hotel inspector.
The one I struggle with is the potential conflict between the businessman, who is absolutely crucial to this business.
I completely agree.
And the weekend trade, and you appear to be asking us to focus on one or the other. I don't think we can.
No, I don't.
We have to appeal to both.
I'm just saying, to this room, what do these little pictures actually add? They're neither an immensely romantic, quirky, characterful addition to a room. You've got a full length, you've got the elements are kind of all here, but it's just a jumble of styles.
Finally, Alex wants Don and Eileen to clean up their act.
I would also like to say that although this is very far from being a dirty hotel, there just needs to be a spring clean done everywhere, I think.
Alex senses there may be another potential problem at the Bodkin. An online search confirms her suspicions.
Looking for some answers, I've gone to look at some review sites, and it does seem that although they get some very positive reviews, every negative review mentions poor customer service.
OK, I'll put that on your bill.
Greeted by a less than helpful lady. I mean, that's a bad start to anybody's stay.
Excusez-moi, s'il vous plaît.
We did not receive a particularly warm welcome. Ditto. The customer service wasn't brilliant.
Excuse me? Would anyone like sugar?
The host was very rude. And the most damning one of all, I think, amateurs doing a professional's job.
It's a struggle, you know, from 7 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night to be happy, smiley all the time.
It seems the pressure can leave the couple feeling more faulty than forte.
Sometimes I'm amazed that Basil kept his cool.
Every single bad review you get mentions something to do with the service, and specifically, mainly you, actually.
Sorry?
I think it's a bit unfair to take 2 cases of Don against 20 that have said he's perfect.
You don't have to defend him to me. All I'm trying to do is change the fact that I don't have to look very far to see that there isn't... You don't have a roaring trade at the moment.
How are you going to make me more user-friendly, then?
Darling, I think I just have to bring out your warm and fluffy side. I'm sure that that will partly be achieved by just making this place busier and more successful, and you therefore being able to relax a bit as to in which direction the business is going.
Alex leaves the Bodkin with her blueprint for change. But it seems Don may not be easily convinced by the hotel inspector's call for a return to a more traditional style at the 17th century inn.
One of my pet hates is when you go into any place and it's called, you know, Hunting or Us, and everywhere you look there are pictures of hounds, horses and hunting horns, and I don't want that. I think it's brainless and ten a penny.
New day. Eileen and cleaner Margaret set to work tackling Alex's housekeeping criticisms.
Right, Margaret, so we're going to do a bit of a spring clean, as it is spring now. Obviously this beam, I can barely reach it.
Well, I'm too short for the beam.
Yeah, well, you'll have to stand on the bed. This lamp looking pretty grim, isn't it? So I think we'll get a new lamp for here.
Don remains philosophical about Alex's advice.
Let's be very clear, because lest we come across as nodding yes men, I've, and my wife to some extent, have had the privilege of staying in some of the best hotels in the world. And I could tell you some stories.
Oh yeah, that needs a new light bulb. And that needs fixing, the plug.
I defy anyone to keep a place like this spotlessly clean. There's always going to be a spider's web somewhere.
While Margaret continues the spring clean...
Oh, thanks, Margaret. That's much better. Vast improvement. Thanks a lot.
On Alex's instructions, Don and Eileen are off to investigate their local competition. The five-star Northie prides itself as a country inn and, like the Bodkin, targets both the midweek business traveller and the weekend tourist market. But unlike the Bodkin, it runs at a 90% occupancy level. Alex wants the Falconers to play the role of hotel inspector, investigating both the rooms and restaurant for clues to the Northie's success. Don is only too happy to throw himself into the part.
Smaller than I anticipated, to be honest. Excellent.
No, I think they're very brave in having cream carpet.
There's obviously an issue there.
Yes, you're not too keen on the high lamps, are you?
They fall over.
I'm not too sure that I like all this grey.
Yeah, I don't think I like this. The lacquer clashes, but I love the magnolia. I think I'd have done a better job on the kitchen, on the ceiling. I'd have redone that.
Downstairs, the restaurant area also comes in for critique.
I don't particularly like these chairs. I do actually think that these are a little bit down market for what we would want to do.
A chat with owner Mark Warburton soon reveals some important differences between the two establishments.
This is just a nice, simple way of dining, and I think that's what people are moving towards. You need to feel at home when you're dining.
Do you find when people stay with you 2 nights, they eat 2 nights?
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what we've really find is that they will eat the first night and then they go off to Bath.
Yeah, but that may be because they're disappointed.
It's left Don with much food for thought.
It has the aura of buzz and success, which is what we're striving to achieve. Very good. It's fresh, it's clean, it's welcoming. And ours isn't.
Don and Eileen Falconer are the proud owners of former 17th century coaching inn Bodkin House near Badminton. After spending around £400,000 renovating and redecorating to their own personal tastes...
It's your baby.
And quite frankly, it's how we would decorate our own home.
They're now fighting falling profits, an empty restaurant and an overwhelming workload.
It's much more of a commitment than I thought it was going to be.
There's an old expression, you can't be half pregnant.
So they've called on the help of the hotel inspector, who's discovered a hotel suffering from multiple personality disorder. To help soften the edges between old and new, Alex's team are trying to put some character back into the unpopular restaurant and creating a warmer and more appropriate design for the bedrooms in the centuries-old coaching inn. But when it comes to her request for the Falconers to change the breakfast and function room into something more befitting the building's age and location, Don and Eileen aren't convinced.
Bloody no. We can't just be an extension of Alex's subjective opinion because she's not here all the time. We have to use our own judgment.
Well, we want to just check, I think, whether these elements are...
It works very well for conferences. They don't want lots of fussy pictures, do they? These are sort of quite bland and quite plain, and they just fill up nice gaps in the wall.
There's got to be a more compelling reason. I think there are more pressing issues for us to address. OK?
Everyone doesn't have the same taste, do they, unfortunately? Or fortunately, should I say.
Alex is back to check on progress. First impressions are good. Eileen and Margaret's spring clean has left the bodkin sparkling.
This is certainly looking very spick and span.
And Alex's makeover of the Louisa May Alcott room is a triumph. Gone are the incongruous modern furnishings and limp literary theme. Replaced with a much warmer and classic feel. Still contemporary, but now harmonious with the building and its setting.
Yes, lovely. Yeah.
So look, darling, I hope you remember the idea was I really wanted to show you that we could make the room a bit nicer without changing too much.
Sure, yeah. No, I'm very pleased. I think they're excellent. Yeah, no, I'm very, very happy with that.
What I've really tried to do is, I love the idea of the inn, and I understand that a lot of your business is corporate. I want to try and combine the two, so it looks a little bit softer and country, and still has all the amenities that a corporate guest expects.
Yeah. No, it's lovely. It really is lovely.
Thanks, darling.
No, it's very, very warm and hotel-y, comfortable.
Good.
Inny.
Inny. Very inny.
It's very inny.
Good.
But there are still some rooms that seem at odds with the bodkin.
So, back to the conservatory. It's a traditional country inn, and I think this could be a really nice, valuable addition, but somehow you've got to tie it into the feeling of it being part of the inn, rather than being a separate entity entirely.
I'm putting this very politely. It was something we designed. We added to it with good architects and so on and so forth. No one's ever said to us, I don't want to eat in the conservatory. The reverse is the case.
However, Alex's transformation of the underused restaurant is complete. The disjointed and oddly modern room seemed out of step with the more popular, traditional-looking bar. Now, the addition of wood panelling, stylish, timeless furniture, and a less formal dining setup has created a room far more in keeping with a historic country inn. But will it score top marks with the Falconers?
Your new dining room lounge. I hope you like it.
Yes.
What do you think?
We've got a warm to it. It's not so sure about the chairs. That's lovely.
Oh, good.
I love everything there. This I'm not quite so sure about because it's different.
The thinking behind it
Yeah.
was I wanted to make it seem as country as possible, so that's why the panelling went up.
Sure, that's lovely.
And then you said to me that everyone likes sitting in the bar, and I think that people like sitting in the bar because it's very informal.
If I take this room as two A-level papers,
Yeah.
A star.
Yeah.
Absolutely enhance the comfort immediately. I want to be there. It's 1,000% better than
Yeah.
When I look over here, I'm probably in B+ territory.
I am so confident that this room is going to work as I intend it to that I would like to make a small personal bet with you. Should we say £50?
10 to 1.
No, just the 50 quid.
You're on.
actually people are going to use this room as I would like them to. That it's going to take. They're going to need no encouragement to sit here and use it. That they'll find it as welcoming and as appealing as I intend it to be.
Alex leaves deflated, but not defeated.
Willful blindness is the phrase that springs to mind. However, I'm sure that sooner or later they will see the error of their ways.
It appears Don may be coming round to the idea of turning over a new leaf, starting with a clear-out of some of the Bodkins' old furniture.
I think it's out with the old and on with the new. Cleansing, closure, renewal. This represents hotel. Tomorrow's sunshine represents country inn. As we approach the new era.
With the Bodkin now more resembling a country inn, Alex is keen for the Falconers to show it off. She wants Don and Eileen to hold a relaunch, inviting locals and potential guests to see the new-look establishment.
I've asked them to put on a big function to invite everyone they know and as many movers and shakers in the area as possible to show them the new Bodkin and also show me how they interact with their guests. I've never seen this place very full and I really want to see them putting on the charm.
Hello.
So, with flyers in hand, Don and Eileen hit the streets of nearby Bath to drum up business.
We're promoting our hotel and restaurant. We've just had a makeover done on it.
I've asked Don and Eileen to get out and about and start engaging with people, telling them about the Bodkin, telling them what they're doing there.
If you take one of those, you get free PIMS.
It isn't their natural environment. They do seem very trapped within the walls of the Bodkin.
Excuse me, do you live in the area at all?
No.
How far away?
Perth, West Australia.
Nice to see you.
Are they being charming? Are they showing themselves and their establishment off to the best advantage?
Don seems determined to prove that he's much more warm and welcoming than the hotel inspector has given him credit for.
He's not going to give that woman a leaflet, is he?
You never know, you might have time.
No.
Okay.
How embarrassing.
From 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. If you can't make it, perhaps you'd like to give it to a friend? Didn't like it. It's been great fun, and so long as you're polite and respect their space and privacy, people are very welcoming and interested. So I've enjoyed it, and I think it's been good for me as well. Well done. I think we've called it a day now. We'll have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
It's a big day at the Bodkin in Badminton. Hotel Inspector Alex Polizzi wants owners Don and Eileen Falconer to banish their hotel's identity crisis by relaunching it as a warm and welcoming country inn. But so far, the signs aren't good.
We've got a big event here today and we are supposed to be showing the Bodkin off to its best advantage to some new customers and movers and shakers in the area. I do not think that this gives a very good impression.
The less than perfect first impressions continue at the Bodkin's front door.
Right, Don, well, I think we've got to tidy this area up, just give it a good sweep, because we've got a lot of people coming today and we want to give a good first impression.
Absolutely. In fact, we've got a crack team of cleaners waiting for it to clear up, and they'll be here and you won't recognise it.
It's all hands on deck to get the Bodkin shipshape and ready for an expected VIP guest list.
use the handles, it's usually more effective that way.
Do you want this broom wrapped round your head?
With so much riding on the event, Alex wants to be reassured proceedings will go off with military precision.
I just wondered if everyone knows what they're doing.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they will.
Do you know table numberings in this room?
Excellent point. Excellent point, Alex.
So what number table is that?
Well, it was always starting from 1.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I think we're 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, point taken. Yeah. What we'll do is we'll follow our usual rules, which is go into a room, start on the left, clockwise. And it's a very good point because that's the odd man. So I suggest he's 2.
I mean, is it just everyone doing a little bit of everything, as in serving food, making sure people have a drink, showing around rooms, or will you be tasked with showing people rooms?
I probably work behind the bar properly with Jess.
No, I think this is probably not the time to be going down to details.
My only point would be it's quite useful to have one person tasked with going up to people and saying, would you like to see some rooms?
It's better if Eileen does that and actually filters that through. It's her area mainly.
Okay.
For their VIP guests, Don and Eileen are laying on a buffet.
Thanks. Sorry, I was looking... Sorry, darling.
That was for me being Mr.
Alex soon discovers it's missing some vital ingredients.
Do you want me to just get loads of plates?
Well, I would think so, and some cutlery and some napkins to put by the buffet. Otherwise, how on earth are they going to serve themselves when the food comes out? I mean, has anyone ever organised anything before?
It's chaos, I think. We need to know what we're doing, so I'm just going on what Alex is telling me to do at the moment because I don't know where Don is and Eileen's a bit flustered, so just crack on, I think.
Rice for Doms, yeah.
Currently, the a la carte menu also leaves a lot to the imagination.
Black olives.
Just do the menu. Farfalle pasta.
That's with black olives and salmon.
And spinach.
Yeah.
I thought at least I'd get it in, darling.
As the Falconers rush to get ready, Alex is worried the Bodkins' big day may be heading for disaster.
Good afternoon, the Bodkin. How can I help you? Please, can I get the owner, Don, to call you back within the next 10 or 15 minutes? Is that acceptable to you?
It's the wrong place.
No, I'm sure you haven't come to the wrong place. Have you been invited by Don and Eileen?
I have indeed.
Good.
So I'll just go and find Don.
Yeah, or Eileen's in the kitchen.
Ah,
I
right,
think
brilliant.
Don's just getting ready.
Right, we've had a confirmation.
Now that I've made the PIMS, sorted out the menu and directed the staff, it looks like there's a couple of wine boxes for me to move, and after that I'll start circulating, shall I?
However, as the Bodkin begins to fill up, owners and staff start to rise to the occasion.
Okay, well done, Don.
And the hotel's new, more countrified image is getting the thumbs up.
Especially with the afternoon sun coming in.
Yeah, it's very inviting.
Yeah.
You'd like to come and sit in here, would you?
Definitely.
The new, more coordinated bedroom also ticks the invited guests' collective boxes.
So you have a lovely view of the garden, which is pretty spectacular.
It's nice and homely. It wasn't too pretentious and over the top. It was good.
Yeah, it's good. Really good.
The restaurant's food and ambiance are proving a winning combination.
Are you enjoying your dinner?
Yeah, we are.
And do you like the room?
It's very nice.
Vastly
improved.
Vastly improved. I love it.
Reassuringly, with a full complement of happy guests, there's no sign of Don's occasional Basil-like alter ego.
try to avoid all the troublemakers.
More marinade. Well, what do you invite me for then?
1, mussels.
Wow!
Both he and Eileen are charm personified.
It's nice and light and airy and...
Brilliant.
Good. So when you're booking your room then?
Ask the boss.
When you're coming to stay?
Well, it is going surprisingly well. Don is being really the life and soul of the party. Eileen seems incredibly relaxed, really happy with people's reactions. Honestly, it's lovely to see the place with such a buzz about it.
Even the local competition is impressed.
The changes that have been made downstairs, from the bar through to where you're going to dine and you sit down and relax, does work incredibly well, and it does feel comfortable. So it's fantastic, yeah, it's great.
Everyone I've talked to, it's been incredibly positive. Corporate clients who've used them for small conferences, who are now going to use rooms, people who like the bar to eat in, who now like it in here. So I think I'm going to be 50 quid richer by the time I leave here today.
Despite a wobbly start, it looks as though Don and Eileen have pulled it off. The Bodkin is buzzing.
Guys, I think you've done a fantastic job this evening. You've been charming, darling. You've been adorable, darling. I mean, that is what people want when they come somewhere like this. They want nice hosts. They don't want exhausted, I'm incredibly proud of you both.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say so.
This has been a pleasure. And it's a pleasure that's built, because I think, it took a while for us to kind of warm up to each other, maybe.
You brought an extra dimension which has helped us to make some decisions, frankly, we should have made years ago. And the specifics of the refurb, we're absolutely delighted with.
Good.
And as we get and we speak to our customers, because that's what matters actually, it's not just what we think, we've been even more enthusiastic about it. So thank you from us.
Good. I'm really glad.
It's been a wonderful experience.
I can only compare tonight to my first visit. I really found Don and Eileen so disengaged from their customers, so uninspired by their business. Instead, look at tonight. Full of customers, with Don and Eileen being absolutely charming, genial hosts. I couldn't have imagined a better finish to this whole episode. I'm really filled with hope for the future.